All right.
That would be nice if we had pause.
I'll send something to you.
Okay. That'd be great.
All right. Morning, everybody. The council annual budget committee back in this out of recess for this morning, and so we'll start. Think alphabetical in the book with the adult probation, but so what we've got our proposed and our actual budget here.
That's your levies. It's your proposed and your actual levies, which the actual, it's just reading what's there, just looking at, so you can't really look at the actual.
Right.
But as proposed now, based on the 4Bs that were provided by the auditor's office, you need to cut 177 to get it to within the levy, or you just reduce your operating balance. Concerns that I have, if you look at that, is one, your operating balance for the general fund is down to like 13.6 million. And you're still gonna have to shift part of that, part of the levy from the general fund to Parks and Health in order for them to operate, in the black. So that then takes your operating balance down even further. So that may be some concerns or something you want to look at. The other concern that I have is that as of now, the county general fund, the proposed budget is at $42.7 million, and the annual revenue is 36.2. So you will be operating at the proposed budget at about $6.5 million deficit. So that could be a problem in future years, especially when you're looking at the 12 to 13 million operating balance. You'll go through that in a couple of years. So that's some concerns there. And then I would assume you're operating at a deficit probably in both health and parks, and that's why those are going into the negative. That's why you have to shift funds over there. So that's the bad news, good news, however you want to look at it. So you may want to determine what you want your operating balance to be, and that'll help drive where you want, what you need to cut or what you need to do.
Comment?
One of the options that you have that was the original intent was that any increased cost for the operation of the jail should be funded out of the public safety. One of the things you can do is shift the jailers that you the increased number, so that was 24, either 24 or 27. You can shift those to the public safety fund.
Yeah, I think we just need to do that, for sure.
And that will
Undoubtedly.
be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.5 million. So that takes you down to 5.
Oh, that'll be helpful.
Great. When we did that, and that study by Mr. Wilson and Sheriff Ewing at the time, and that whole process at the end of the year, last minute, judges, was that a court order at that time or a strong request that we hire all those jailers?
It was
Part of the agreement?
yeah, to help with federal lawsuit.
So we passed that tax. That was the way we were going to fund those increased jailers. And I wouldn't have voted for doing that if that wasn't what the purpose was. We didn't transfer that. That's been carried for county general for last year. We didn't transfer that because we were trying to do cash flow and get a better bond rate, as I remember. So, that being said, I believe that's a pretty straightforward situation. You're in agreement on that?
Absolutely.
Here, okay. That's what I thought. So, you think that's about $1.5 million out of county general?
Yes. I mean,
And we're,
it's gonna vary, because I don't know, like, coverage, health insurance coverage, et cetera, but it's still somewhere in the neighborhood.
the public safety should carry that without any problem?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So the jailers are in the jail budget or in the sheriff's budget?
They're in the jail budget in the
Okay.
general fund.
In the jail budget. Point taken. Thank you. Okay. Two to 3 to 5 to 2 probably be about what? 500,000, 400,000 maybe?
Percentage?
Yeah.
Those jailer positions need to be in that, public safety fund anyway.
Yes. That was the original intent,
Right.
was to fund the extra cost for jail.
Right.
Well, I have requests for personnel changes in that for 2.2 million for changes
I'm
in
going to in a bit.
personnel.
How much, Mike?
5 to 2.
That's all in there, right? So that 42 million, we can change that by about 1.5 billion by with the jailers out, getting it out of county jail.
Correct.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that. Like I say, that was the plan when,
So we need to
Different
make
council.
sure that we advertise in public safety, the lit public safety fund for those correctional officers to be in that fund. Do you want to go the 24 or the 27? Because if you remember correctly, in, I think it was the 2018 budget, you added 3, and then you came back and added 24 more after budget. So for a total of 27.
well, my preference would be 27.
27, I'd
And the
say.
reason I'm saying that is because, yes, you're right. The 3 were to get us, to bump us along. We didn't really have we weren't sure where we were gonna get the revenue at that time for 3, let alone 27. And so that was like what do I say? It was about what we figured we could do until we got the revenue from the other.
Well, we better keep it up there where when we,
Well, that's it, yeah. That's what it's there for, in my opinion. But, because I wouldn't have, I didn't see any way to fund it. I didn't see way, I didn't want to pass tax increase,
bless you,
period. So,
You saved your brain.
I forgot to take my
allergy.
allergy pill this morning.
did you, you've sent that out. I don't, I just copied it, I think, the
Yeah, I sent that
personnel.
out.
Yeah, you got an email on it too, I'm sure.
I mean, it's been weeks now.
Yeah, I just print that stuff out because I can't.
And my printer's still on Kaputsky, so I can't print anything.
Okay,
I think I might
did.
have given it to you at the last
You probably
budget.
did.
Or,
Well,
not
there's
last
one
budget meeting, last council
point
meeting, but I'll
I've got
give you
you.
the-
5 approximately, and 2.2 for additional personnel. And, I know we're making large lumps here. We don't know the difference between the 3 and 5 exactly, but I don't know. I would guess around 400, 500, 400,000, you think? Between
Maybe.
3 and 5?
Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna put it in at 400,000. Difference. So, yeah. Huh?
Jailers for accounting and fees of administration and payroll. It would be simpler to leave them all in general fund and then set up a line item in the public safety fund, reimburse general for that, rather than you administering the payroll, we've got some of them here and some of them, which
Can
guy?
we do that?
Yeah, you can, yeah.
Those, my only,
Move them all to public safety,
yeah, my only question is
I don't
is,
think you can fund all.
Huh?
Can't fund all the correctional officers in public safety.
no, I don't think we could fund all of them. I don't remember the numbers, but. Yeah. Sure. Right.
Which one are you gonna take first? Come out of the public safety first, and you just follow the
Are we specifically talking about the public safety portion, or is it one of the?
The public safety.
Safety.
It's about the same.
2%. Which you're probably talking about $2 million in revenue.
That's kind of what we did.
Sorry.
Well, if that's the option you want to do, then we need to, one, you need to advertise for public safety, and you also need to add that amount of revenue to the general fund. If you're going to do it that way, where you reimburse the general fund.
So when you guys get checked out on our proper use of those taxes,
Well,
then you just say this is what we do. I mean, it seems, yeah, okay.
what we did with 911, that first year you had split, paid about half the year out of that and reimbursed.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes. Okay. All right. Will do. So right now, this morning, main thing is trying to figure out how we can fund and what we can fund. So we can that'd be all right. Any other big areas, guys? That's a couple. But
Do we know what the cost of the 27 jailers will be?
it's it'd be approximate.
When, I don't have the insurance numbers. That's one number I was missing. I think if you can come up with the cost of 27 jailers, at least on average, if you have insurance or not. Or, I don't care, what if you did take all of the jailers you have and do a percentage and figure out what 27 out of 70 or however many there are. And just allocate a percentage. If you're gonna leave that in that fund.
Well, what we're talking about, two different things. We're talking about whether to leave them in county general or whether to fund them out of PSAP for payroll. That we can figure that out pretty quick. So the jailers, and again, understand 100%, and insurance benefits, things like that. But approximately, I'm guessing that a jailer is $10 a year, or $20 a year, or $18.25 a year, or something like that. Not necessarily. And that'll give us something to go on. We've got really a rough figure here right now with.
$10 a year.
Well, I'm saying that instead of $50,000.
Oh, okay.
Just figuratively.
No wonder we
Are they
can't
going to
keep
be
'em.
surprised?
Oh,
Well, if you get one that's on this family plan and everything, you're up 68,000 a year.
67, 68.
If they're
What do you
on a
think?
family plan, the maximum exposure is that amount. Now, if they're not, you know, as their coverage drops, or then that number drops significantly.
Okay,
Because you can drop almost 15,000 if they do single.
right.
So
Well, if you take, let's just take the maximum at 68,000 by 27, that's 1.8 million.
Right. I can work with that. The revenue is there in the source, and so
So we
that
haven't
would be
spent
key
any of that
to it.
money.
We could use that as a working figure and just go ahead and
Right.
stick it in and work with it.
yeah,
Go
And then you
ahead.
can and subtract it from your county general or overall.
I think it's maybe even if we use 1.5, that might be
More realistic.
We
That's
know.
what we need to maybe look at, whether the 24 or the 27, because then you have to consider there's also additional funding that you're gonna need. So, we'll figure it out.
So we know insurance is going to go up for everyone again. That was, we're estimating 3% or something like that.
Yeah, I believe insurance was put in at the same rates as last year.
It was,
I thought that the commissioners had negotiated where it gone up a certain percentage, and that they were going to absorb that cost again. Am I incorrect at that?
it did, it went up some, I don't have that.
So the way we calculated the insurance based on the same amount.
The
That's
same amounts, okay.
That's what they sent, but the same amount.
So if there's an increase, it's not in here. Uh-huh.
Did not go up, even though the insurance plan might have gone up. What they're saying that we budget for
Uh-huh.
didn't really increase, but still with the cash balance. That what we're appropriating is what they're estimating almost maximum. So they did not change the amount for employer or that kind of thing.
Excellent. Okay.
I know it increased, but
The
your,
administrative cost.
but your, yes, the max
of-
exposure that they want you to stay have one.
They're saying actually with the pandemic that people are not going to the hospital now, and we should have a lot fewer claims. I just talked to the guys at the bank on the weekend, and they said, you know, their costs are substantially down right now, substantially. So that probably will hold true
Oh,
across the board.
interesting.
Keep your fingers crossed.
So, Council President Morris, do you want to make or should we make a motion for the 27 jailers, or do we need to do
Well,
that?
They're gonna have to
We'll just
calculate a
fill-
number,
Fill these figures in and
even if we apportion it out, a percentage of what those 27 jailers are, of what we expect.
put some figures in.
Yeah, I don't think we need to
So what do you think, what figure did you decide on jailers, do you think?
I mean, I think you can kind, and you can estimate somewhere around $1.5 million until we can get,
Okay.
if we take what the annual cost is or what it's projected at for, then we can back into the 27. I think that would be the easiest way,
Okay,
and that way we'll leave them appropriated in the general fund. We'll have to increase revenue for the general
6,
fund,
Okay.
so it'll offset the cost of the jail.
6, 11, 3, 4.
And then the other thing is the other, maybe the other revenue projections that are in there, are we comfortable with those?
Okay. All
Those are
right.
numbers that the auditor came up and I mean, we just need to make sure we're comfortable with them. If they're comfortable with them, I mean, their interest revenue or the ones you get reimbursed from the state, things like that. Anything they're seeing a decline in, if they feel they've accounted for it adequately. Because you don't wanna get caught short on revenue any more than you have to.
So health and park and rec are both up?
Both up,
Yeah.
their levy, yeah, their levy, or both, at least projection.
Projection of their
But
levies
that's
are?
not even, if you remember, the cash flow worksheet shows that if you left everything the same for 21, you're gonna start running into negative cash balances in both those funds. Took a little bit longer with health. Parks is definitely more at risk. So we're gonna have to look at shifting part of the levy from the general fund, shift it to both those funds. I mean, we're not talking, might be $1 million for the two of them, might be 1.2, I don't know. It just depends on how helpful one.
One point one, 1.2 on $3.1 million budgets. So a shifting of,
That's their levy, it's not their budget.
I know,
Oh.
you're talking about shifting out of county general 1.1 million.
Possibly, I mean, which in order to get them to where they can pay their bills. And that's kind of one, you're gonna have to determine, I mean, once you know their budget, then you'll know what you need to shift.
Do we anticipate health will have to do anything extraordinary, or will, I mean,
I don't think there was anything to put in the amount to expend. So there's no additional appropriations accounted for in health or parks for the remainder of the year. The general fund, it was estimated at $750,000.
does anybody think health will have to do anything with schools or general public or anything like that? Yeah,
Have you included any of the reimbursement in the general fund for whatever expenditures we've had? And not the health either, which did theirs come out of their fund? Or have you set up another fund?
And it'll continue. I mean, it's gonna just go on all year. Mhm.
Jimmy, I have a question for you, since we're talking about CARES. Do you think the, what we had to expend out of the general fund for, the indigents for the work release program, so the ones that weren't allowed to work and could do that, and that we kept them on the program and we paid for that? Is that something that we can get reimbursed for? Well, we had an existing appropriation, but they're gonna have to come back for an additional appropriation because yeah,
73,000, I think.
well, the original 75, no, I'm talking about if they can come up with a list of.
Yeah.
I mean, because normally, I mean, they have to meet certain requirements in order to get that. Well, then, it's because, whatever the reason is, you can't afford it, or you're working towards getting a job. These people couldn't get jobs because there's nothing, I mean, at the time, there's nothing out there. I mean, they only used the appropriation was there because it kept it going. Well, it would put them all back in the jail, and that would have created problems. Social distancing problems. I mean, that's exactly what it would have happened. They would all went back to jail. So, food for thought.
Okay.
Yeah. I got you. I had an interesting conversation this weekend. Somebody doing some health department work in West Virginia, getting reimbursed by CARES. It was a stretch, but they were getting the money from 'em. So maybe this isn't much of a stretch. It's pretty much connect the dots on this one, man.
I mean, if nothing, I guess it wouldn't hurt. to
It
apply
wouldn't
for
be
it.
spent. It wouldn't be spent otherwise.
We've
What
been
do we
told no
got?
before.
What do they got? 3.4 million for Terre Haute and Vigo County. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
3.8.
All right. Okay. Well, can't count on it, but we're gonna try, huh? Yeah. Well, I don't know what was that initial appropriation? They want another 80 or not?
I don't know, I got an email about it, I don't remember now what it was.
Yeah.
I got an email last week.
I think it's about doubled. So, and like you say, they didn't use it, but really too much over the last few years. Appropriated it.
I would assume that, Bill Watson could give numbers as far as
Yeah.
which ones for that purpose.
All right. So, let's see. Mm-hmm.
For salary,
969 what?
894,
Okay.
like this, and,
What about insurance?
Sure.
So we're real close, at $1.5 million, a little more.
Okay.
That would seem like the very smart thing to do.
Well, I think if you could take all of the correctional officers and figure out the total and then say, okay, if there's 60 correctional officers, 27 is it's not quite half, so 47%, whatever it is, 46% times that total cost and then go that route. That may be the easiest route. I mean, it's gonna change, but at least it gives you a start.
In the
And then you
ballpark.
can adjust it. Because it's a revolving door over there. You're never gonna, it's like a moving target. You'll never hit it.
By the same token, I mean, if would go into, God forbid, a bad recession, I mean, the people might stay.
Well, they might, but I mean, that just means you're not hiring all the time. I mean,
Mhm.
because that helps them actually if they would.
Yeah.
That would take a big load off, not have to be continually hiring.
Paperwork. Going to prison because they're going to work. I just thought I'd check.
So we're using the 1170.20.
You want to do 1.2.
Okay.
1.2, not 1.5. Okay. All right. I can do that. All right. I'm just going over some things I remember off the top of my head for large expenditures in that budget. That's a couple of them.
Would you want to do court, or is that too big of a bite to work on today? That'd be big to get that out of the way.
Courts.
Mhm.
Well, if we're talking about the new program, talking about out of one of these taxes. So new.
Or
And
parks, we could do parks.
We can start on the general fund if you want.
Well, let's do that. That'd be a good idea.
yeah, because I think what when we get into the general fund, we're gonna be looking at, eh, your payroll's gonna be what it is,
Yeah.
pretty much. And so I guess you'd be looking at capital expenditures, software, hardware, automobiles, repairs to buildings, things like that. I really don't know how much that's in there.
One of the things that I did was went through and highlighted the ones that are increased from the 2020 budget, adopted budget. So, which payroll, you know, that's higher, but hopefully that'll maybe make it a little bit easier for you, and give you something to focus.
And somebody said something last week about working with the edit, and I'd rather go through the county general to start with and see what's there, because we've used that edit to cover some expenses, you know, I mean, if we need to, especially some capital expenses the last couple of years with parks improvement and equipment to county highway. So pretty substantial expenses come out of there. So I think we may, I guess I'm thinking about it sources of revenue, period. Because no way, if we hold our operating balance at whatever, and then the other things are probably, which Cheryl made comment to, is health maintenance and you want to call it that, health maintenance? Our fund for our deductible for our health maintenance.
Deductible for health benefits?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Why would I call it health maintenance?
That's a health department.
Okay, that's health department. Okay, sorry. Okay,
Slightly confusing.
so health benefits fund. Okay.
Hospital benefits.
Health benefits funds and then if we can jump around a little bit, you know what I'd like to look at is what was recommended for sheriff's retirement this year. I was wondering if that's down or up or what. That's from your actuary, right? They just tell you a figure. Was that some? I'm sure that was in the sheriff's proposal. I guess it's caught me off guard a couple of times over the years. You know, if it's $30,000, that'd be one thing. If it's $300,000, might be another. Or anything we could do about it except fund it. That's why I was kind of curious, because I didn't want to get things lined out in his budget and then say, oh, by the way. Yeah, it's my fault for not having it right here in front of me. What our contribution is this year to the sheriff's pension
In 2020 or 2021?
for 2021.
766. Is that
766.
what it was?
Is that an increase or a decrease from $30,000 increase, okay. All right. That's what I was curious about. Something was sticking in my mind that was about a $30,000 increase. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's about all the large ticket things that I can, like you say, Jimmy, you gotta pay it, so doesn't make any difference. We gotta figure out how to make that one work. So, some of these others we can vary a little bit sometimes. I think so. You got another way to handle it? See what each department's needs are?
Or do you wanna do it all, look
What?
at all of, I'm talking about all the changes that we're, you wanna do those all at once, or you wanna do them one by one?
Did we do those as, like we do all the new position requests, or did we do them by a department?
In the past, you kind of went through and did them all at once.
That's what I was thinking.
Well, they're in this budget now, right? Okay. All right. But all these new positions are in here at the 42, right? 42 million? Yeah.
You wanna go by department,
Okay.
I can tell you how much that department, that's the 3% increase, or the 13.
Okay.
That's a lot.
I think it is gonna be done.
Do you wanna go through, start to force, and then just start counting?
Your capital expenditures, not payroll.
All your operation. except for
All
payroll.
operations. All right with you guys. We leave got some generalities on payroll right now. We go through the 2s, 3s, and 4s of the different budgets, see what's in there for capital,
Sure.
because I don't know how we're gonna
What one you wanna do?
You got any particular goals?
just need to
operating
do-
balance, budget within the revenue projection.
Melissa, what's your recommendation? What do you think would be best to knock off?
I would pick one of your levy funds and start going through them.
Okay,
Go
name
through
one
the
and let's
twos,
do it.
threes, and fours. I mean, you can start out with general fund if you wanna go big, or you can start with parks, health, reassess.
How long can you work today, Michael? You wanna work till noon?
Yeah,
Okay. Levy fund, which one? General?
You wanna do that one?
Let's do it. Can you guys work till noon? We'll work till noon. Does that work for you guys?
Okay.
For 2 hours and 25 minutes. Okay? Okay, general fund, hit it.
all right.
If you want to go in the order that's in your book, I'll just scroll
Okay.
down. That'll
Go.
probably be easier for you guys.
All right.
In the book, the orange section.
So you've got adult.
Adult probation.
You want to start down through it, Calissa? And
Yeah, if you look at which, we're skipping payroll, we have office supplies, which there's not been any increases in those at all, in office supplies, bond employee, printing, service agreements, or office furniture. Now, I don't know if you guys, if you're wanting to do office furniture and things like that, I don't know, office furniture, what,
Is there any increase in that?
no, there's no increase, but I just know what your, I don't know what your policy wants to be on office furniture. I think because last year, year before, you'd said no new office. I don't care.
Are they asking? Let's see.
They're asking for 5,000 for here.
Did they come and present?
Yes, that would have been Leanne Riesenbeck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were wanting to add a couple desks or something for additional
Huh?
staff.
You didn't get a paper.
Excellent. Okay,
You must not have that feature.
got it. That's what I thought.
They don't have it.
Okay. So I can't compare it to last year. I don't have a session for the other book. Mm-hmm. So where's our comparison to last year?
Hold on a second.
20. Okay. Adopted.
There you go. So, this column here is the amount they've expended through June 30th. This is the total budget, so if they had any encumbrances, additional appropriations or anything, this is what the total budget is now for 2020. And this is the adopted budget, and that's what they've requested for 20. And starting here to there, those are your 2s, 3s, and 4s, non-payroll.
It hasn't changed. The,
With the,
the five,
yeah, I don't,
2s, 3s, and 4s are,
I mean, how do you feel about that at the desk? I mean, they've asked for it for a couple of years. I mean, they probably need it.
Payroll up that much. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It still hasn't happened. It's 41 legal. That's still.
what'd you say that's, at what percentage?
It's at 3%.
317?
217 at 3%, you say? Okay. Okay,
With everything that's been asked for,
yeah.
that we've had this year. However, still even that's not. Just so you can see.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'd go to next. Expenditures, amounts in there, whenever, I'd go to the next one. Go to the next one. I don't have,
Do you want to go with these or not?
yeah, go with them.
You guys okay with that?
For now, let's go to the next one for now.
Now, this is both probation, also had food for bad.
Yeah. We're not doing those payroll right now.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep. We're gonna go through here and look and see what the amount on some of those items are, if there's anything in there that we need to. Well, payroll's the thing we have to make fit. Oh, they have a position?
Yeah, but it's on this other list. Okay. Office supplies starts right here, goes down to there. You've got increases in gasoline, travel, and looks like they're asking for another vehicle? Or they may be leasing one, I don't know. They didn't come before you.
I don't see anything in here.
So are we on area plan now? Are we on area planning now? We're still
No,
on
we're still on adult protective services.
Adult Protective Services. I'm trying to follow the book. Thought it'd be easier for you guys.
Do we know what the 14,000 is for vehicles?
No, I don't.
I don't recall. Yeah. 14. And they did have, did you say they did have a request for an additional personnel?
That was in adult probation.
Probation, okay.
This is Adult Protective Services.
Yeah, I got it
This
up
is the
here.
prosecutor's office, through the prosecutor's office.
Oh, I remember that, yeah. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that now.
So question on vehicles then, okay. All right,
What do you want to do
okay with the
this?
rest of it? Or you wanna change the amount until we know what it is?
So the other two that went up are gasoline and travel.
$3,000 on gasoline and, 2,000 on travel, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if the gasoline is down so much because they didn't go anywhere, but $110 for 6 months is what they'd spent.
Well, they transferring that to something every year? Expend it and say showing expenditure for 2019 either.
They didn't have a budget in 19. It was 0.
I don't know, I don't remember.
And there was nothing adopted either. Doesn't look like anything was transferred, so.
So they spent $110 so far as of June 30th out of 6,000. Huh. Well, I don't know. To start to balance the budget, there, the increase of $3,000 if we make it the same.
Let's make it the same.
Leave office supplies?
Is it up?
No, it's the same. It was
Yeah,
adopted.
what's
in
that
2000.
travel expense in there though?
Um,
Adopted, spent, $13. What? What's going on there? Requested budget 16804. Man, I know we talked about that. I'm trying to remember what the discussion was. Well, right now, you've got the increases in them, right? That's what's highlighted?
Yes,
Okay. So travel expense at $2,000 and then vehicle at 14. Sixteen
yes.
804, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I remember we had some discussion about that. We didn't adopt it. I'll tell you what, it looks like we did. Looks like we shifted it from travel expense to vehicle. Just looking at it, because there's not been anything for vehicles in there before that,
Yeah, there was no request.
and there was no request. So it looks to me like we just added it in, but we added it in on vehicles, so it looks to me like they,
Do it.
Your agreement is 39,
There's about 40,000 extra.
yeah.
Can we just call Adult Protective Services real quick on speakerphone and see what
I
the
don't think
request is?
Leanne is there.
You texted Rob, he's not there.
Hmm,
You texted Rob?
good. Oh,
What's Rob's phone number?
He probably doesn't want it shared on live stream, but I'll send it to you.
Well, I'm pretty sure. But $200. Doing my math.
I think Alyssa sent it to me, but it hasn't came yet. We'll do it tomorrow.
Alright, good. You know, so like that.
So we're questioning the vehicles. Oh, 208, 1096.
Mm-hmm.
Oh crap, I said it on. It went to voicemail.
Probably in court.
You don't have that in your bookie?
Sure. That's what we're trying to go through the simple thing.
They are state.
Looks like they have
He didn't. He went straight-
a
he
lease.
went straight to voice- he went straight for it.
Oh, alright, so we're not waiting on answer.
They have a
Okay.
lease on vehicles and they must have been behind in their payments or something, cause since June, they've paid $1,800. So it's $300 a month that they're doing, so I don't know if they're wanting to lease another
Maybe
vehicle
it's
or.
6 months at a time or something.
I thought they had made reference of they were getting a vehicle or something.
Well,
Or given a vehicle, no? Okay.
different. But if you look at that, so they're paying $300 a month and their appropriation's 10.8. So
Hmm.
they're only paying $3,600 a year, going up to 14. $14,400. I don't know, not unless they're planning on doing something else too. 3,600 plus 10.8 is the 14,400. They're planning on another 10.8 for another vehicle, I would guess.
Yeah.
So they want two vehicles.
I think that'd be the question.
They have a unique accounting system.
Well, they could, you can even lease it and it's not. I know, but what I'm saying is they have 10.8 appropriated and they're only spending 3,600 on one.
Rob's probably didn't.
Alright.
draft it.
You'll follow up on it, try to straighten it out.
I can do that.
Do it. Move on.
So you-
Rough him up.
what about the Rusties, or you're not messing with any more of them?
We get to the question what they're doing,
Okay.
answer what they're doing.
Next.
Before I start moving too much around. Alright. We got any more in there?
No, we're area plan.
Area planning, okay,
Okay, next.
area planning.
Not that one.
Changes.
Looks like wearing apparel and travel.
Travel. Machine expended 2 payments of $1,900 probably every 6 months. What would you say? Registration fees. Haven't been paid yet this year.
Maybe because nobody's having conferences.
I would, the hardest thing is going to be for us this year is looking at what they requested in 2020, what was adopted, and watching what they've expended so far, and only realizing because maybe we're in a pandemic, it's so low, if they're going to get back to that point. In 19, it was 300. And then it jumped all the way up to 3,000.
Well, will they be doing GIS stuff?
No.
Oh, that's right, he's in with Larry. What would they be doing for that trip to the Bahamas he always did want to do? Well,
I mean, I don't even see them using the 1,500 the rest of the year. Or the extra, whatever it is. $12.99. $13.99.
It's good, man. Good job.
Well, I would say this, Chris, is a pretty easy one to make it the same. I mean, again, your travel expenses proposed. I don't know when they put that together, but nobody's going anywhere anyway.
What about their gasoline? Did it, or they request more? Or it stayed the same? Stayed the same. I say leave it at $1,500 for travel expenses.
Okay.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's right. That's where we've got it placed right now, isn't it? Right. And it's because the employee went to your department or to highway?
We went to the GIS department.
GIS?
What,
Well, I think that was part of the deal to get him over there in GIS.
and what did they ask for last year for travel?
1,500 was what they got
Dang it.
last year.
They asked 1,500. They're at 201, and we don't know if that's pandemic related or not. But now
Well, they
they're
asked
asking
for
for 3,000.
3,000 in 2020, and you cut it to 1,500.
That's because they've
Or
been
you're
spending
just asking for it
$300.
again, well, let's-
Just make it 1,500.
Yep,
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Got it down. Maybe that's just their traditional ask. Okay,
So you're good
Okay.
with these?
Sure. Vehicles.
Yeah,
Vehicles.
so far.
so far.
Are you good with those?
Yeah, or I am.
Let's
Sorry.
see, furniture and fixtures, yeah, let's see. They've spent nothing.
So far. We still got to go up too. I think there's a couple more things.
Office supplies went up $41
Do it. I say do it.
at 2,500. So you okay with these?
You know, it's just weird for somebody to ask for more travel expenses, but I ask for more vehicle maintenance supplies, or more
Yeah,
gasoline.
that is.
And then it looks like wearing apparel went up $85.
Don't get Mike started on that one.
Or $25, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, just don't get him started on
Now you've done it. Hope you're happy.
I've never gotten a bill yet.
So then are we gonna request that wearing apparel stay at 175? Or should we go ahead and bump it to $15? Or, yeah,
Let's go around the building and take up a
that.
collection.
25.
$25, sorry.
We'll work on
I'm looking at the other one too. Man, that's a lot of math up there.
Whew.
Put in that requested 200.
Yeah. You got that, Judy? Leaving
Yes.
200, leaving the 2,500, and reducing the travel expenses from 3,000 to 1,500.
Okay. Anything else in there, guys? Dues, license, gasoline, advertising. Spent
Now, Jimmy took
$200
his
in
employees,
advertising,
wanted to
reparative
do-
equipment, printing. As we go through this, and take, maybe Vicki and I'll be able to remember some of it, but sometimes there's some crosses of vehicles and
Sure.
some of those expenses and what have you. So.
So, assessor, yeah?
And an assessor,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
That one seems pretty simple too.
He's pretty thrifty.
It has increase in dues,
$50.
an increase in subscriptions, but I think he transferred out of official meetings before. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're talking about $50 increase and a $30 increase, for a total of $80 for his total budget.
Yeah.
I say go.
Yeah, I do too.
Yep. Should we skip the auditor since they're in the room?
This is always very uncomfortable.
I don't have
I don't have anything.
I didn't have the old one either. You wanna move on?
No, we never did this until the night we vote on it for real.
Yeah, we'll do building inspection.
So you have an increase in office supplies, code enforcement, copy machine rental, and equipment new.
No, we're gonna skip.
Okay, what we got?
We're at building inspector now with a $30 increase in office supplies.
What? 4,500, did we do the math for you?
Well, I was still adding. Okay, I will say this. I'm on the building inspection board. Code enforcement seems to be a big deal throughout the community. they don't have the money or resources to, well, I mean, they're probably getting 100 to 200 calls a day of people reporting things. So, I can't understand why they've only expended $990 when their budget's 12.5, but
In 2019, they spent
They get a lot.
12,086. My guess is there's a lot of extenuating circumstances for this year, but if you look at 2019, they were 12,086. 18, they were 10,013.
yeah, it's gotta be something. Grass, weeds, yeah, lawn furniture, abandoned
Mattresses.
cars. And granted, a lot of that stuff is in the city, and the city takes care of a lot of it, but the county roads, you know, especially furniture, washer and dryers along the side of the road. But I guess my concern would be to ask them why they've only expended $990 this year, and we're 8 months into the year. I would think they would still be able to do their jobs.
Well, Dale did,
Well,
Dale
also-
died, of course.
Yeah. Okay, 6:30.
Mhm. Mhm.
That was the extenuating circumstances.
Yeah, a lot of it too is, stuff that's not the county's business to
Yeah.
do. It's neighbors complaining about their neighbors and, it's not enforceable.
Yep.
People been
They're up
cranky
to
this year.
35, a little over 3,500.
Mike, what do you think? From 12,500 up to 17 grand.
You got the that's for code enforcement? Code enforcement's a person, isn't it?
No,
Employees.
it's
Well,
for
it's for their
action.
services.
And keep in mind, they have, what is a $100,000 code enforcement budget in that fund? It's for demolition of buildings and stuff like
Well, what, okay, I mean,
That's
so
not all.
what is it spent for? I'm not saying you don't have a cases, you have a case manager, you have.
Well,
an
from
officer.
what I think, yeah,
So there's expense for correction of the things out of there.
that. Yes.
So we
Well-
know 17,000 doesn't even come close to what probably needs to be fixed. Because demolition's only 100,000 that we've allocated over last year. Are they getting the condemnations and what have you on that stuff now? Does anyone know?
we could be super conservative and just say, they're requesting 17 and give them 14.
I think they probably need all the money they can
Yeah.
get, to be honest about it. I mean, it's a big county when you drive from Cold Bluff
Well,
down
they've
to
expended exactly what they've been allocated. So,
No, they've not expended it.
not
Well,
this
this is
year.
what
Really,
they
of
were.
course, their
Yeah.
problem is manpower.
Oh, I
Those
know.
guys
And that's
don't
probably
raise
because
all
there've been
that.
shortage of personnel, right?
Well, the last year they spent just under 12.1 and there were 10 something in 18.
So they're gonna have probably funds left over this year.
They've spent 3,500.
But that's non-reverting, isn't it, Jim?
No, this is general fund.
So, well, I mean, that, so it drops off.
Yeah, the appropriation dies at the end of the year.
Appropriation, that's what I meant, the appropriation drops, okay. So, yeah, they're not gonna spend this year, so it's not encumbered, so, you know,
Yeah.
you're, at your pleasure, I don't know. I
Okay.
think I'd make it for the same amount as last year.
I think
Forget
that's
about it.
totally reasonable. I think they need everything they can get. It's a department that just doesn't have enough manpower, and they run from one end of the county and one side to the other, and it's tough. You know, they don't ever get everything done that they need, you know,
So
for the
what's the amount
complaints
you
they
want in there,
get.
Vicky?
Pardon me?
What's the amount you want in there?
I didn't-
What is the amount you want in there?
I'd give them what they ask for, quite honestly.
All right, 17,000.
And then Calissa, for the office supplies, you might as well just do that too. We're talking a $30 or yeah, what was it? Yeah, $30 difference.
It's no difference to me.
You guys good with that?
All right, 1,300. All right, copy machine rentals up $300.
I rent all my copy machines, and I'm assuming the county probably rents from the same people I do, and they have been bought out by different companies, so I'm sure prices have raised. So
Well, if they were halfway through the year, 806,
Looks like it's gone up.
it would be 1,612. So, and
Yeah.
if they've changed machines or anything, to one of the 1,800.
Yeah.
Another vehicle, or is that's the lease?
what are we talking there? $400, $300?
Yeah, I don't know what you want to do with equipment now.
Yeah, I believe it's I think Ted said a weed eater or something like that, or a
Nice.
couple.
Nice weed eater.
But they go through the weed eaters
Oh,
like
yeah.
crazy. I can't believe Ted works like he does, and he's like
I
everywhere.
know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Mike, what do you think? 3750, $300 increase, $400 increase?
Yeah.
Go, Calissa, go.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything was as. Building maintenance. Looks like paint, glass, electrical supplies went up, $4,000. Plumbing supplies went up $3,000. Gasoline went up 160. Building repair went up just over 43. And everything else looks like it stayed the same.
It's not too bad.
Now, building maintenance goes for how many buildings? All the county-owned buildings? Annex, courthouse, jail,
Juvenile center,
juvenile center.
community court.
So a $4,000 increase for paint, glass, and electrical supplies for all those buildings.
And he'll be back.
Yeah, I know.
That's for 8,000 last year in 2020, you cut it to 7, but I think it's because you went at 2019 rates. They've spent halfway through the year 3,100.
Is this a
Last year they spent 7,000.
is this a non-reverting fund too?
No, it's general fund. We're in the
Oh yeah,
general
that,
fund.
okay, yeah, sorry.
And in 2018, they expended 79.49. So it's been less than somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000.
Not pretty, not bad.
What are you looking at,
Me?
Vicky?
Oh, I was just looking, I was trying to see if I'm seeing it right. I think it's reasonable. What do you think, Mike? He's probably not asking for enough, quite honestly. I think he knows if he comes back, we just have to give it to him.
I did ask for additional information from building maintenance.
Mhm.
I haven't gotten it yet, but hopefully within the next day or two.
I know Brad was trying to help him put it together because it's.
Okay. I think, you know, I have some problem with what it's spent, not whether it's spent or not.
It'll be spent.
So the adopted budget in 2020 for the building repair was $256,858, but they spent $306,779.
It looks like they encumbered,
Okay.
see right there,
Yep.
so about $40,000.
Yeah, they had some carryover. They covered it.
It's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good with it if you guys
All
are
right.
with it.
Good at 300.
Yep. Building repair, 300,000.
You okay with these?
Paint, glass, electrical supplies, 11. Plumbing supplies, 11. Gasoline, 5,000. As proposed. Yeah.
Vehicles, what was that again, Judy?
He wants a Polaris to remove snow and to put sand or salt out on the county buildings here downtown.
They gonna work for snow?
I think so. I think it's pretty fair. Those things do pretty good.
Probably sidewalks and, I don't know how much.
I know Indiana State University has about 10 or 15 of them they use for their sidewalks and their parking lots.
Okay,
You're okay with that?
yep, let's go.
Okay, so you have office supplies went up 5,000. Wearing apparel. Supplement to work release, and it is 75.
Double that.
Mhm. And I think, again, that's due to, they don't know what's going on with the pandemic. Lodging and food jury, it's went up 5,000, and that's because they can't release people once they get in there for jury, so they have to bring food in now. Contractual services, that's for,
That's COVID related, right?
no, that's the one,
Oh yeah, that's the nurse practitioner.
nurse practitioner, or the one for the, was that
3,000 to hire temp service personnel to do health screenings
psychiatric nurse
for off-site jury
practitioner.
trials, and 50,000 for the psychiatric nurse.
So part of it's due to COVID, 3,000 is due to COVID. Physician fees, up by 5. System hardware up 3,500. Oh, equipment for streaming of court proceedings and microphones in order to follow CDC coded guidelines. So that may be something, I mean, I would think that would be CARES Act related. Maybe they can get that taken care of this year.
So their 2020 adopted budget was 36.5. Now they're asking for the 40.
But if they were to ask, if they were to get that care taken care of this year, and they could use the CARES money, because it's for hardware and streaming.
Well, and I wonder too how much they'll carry on with doing the streaming after
They're
the
planning on it.
pandemic's over,
Yeah,
if it's ever over.
but hardware costs pretty much once they get it home. Might as well. It's adopted the same. They must have transferred from another line. They've either encumbered or transferred, or had an additional appropriation.
Adopted 2674971, adopted 20219614. Reduction of $500,000. Am I reading wrong here?
Where are you at? This one? Or that one? Need more space in there, Mike. In 19?
He's caught.
Well, there's 50,000, group insurance went down.
That's what I was trying to remember, yeah, okay. It was the probations?
Because I looked at it.
Yeah, it was the probation people? No, imagine that. Threw me off. Yeah, threw me off.
So, Calissa, what's the total increase at the bottom? $200,000,
300,000.
300,000.
Well, 250.
Gosh, that's a big one. They're so big every year.
Is that it? So that includes here?
And they just come in and here it is.
Yeah.
It includes
But it'll, I mean, what they've done now has helped tremendously.
No, that's
I hope.
Mhm.
If it doesn't, we're just screwed.
just right here,
That one right there.
and then Yeah, the pre-trial screener, so forth,
That one there.
and the other one was a contract, so it's not included there.
All right. Two. Okay. All right. That budget like that. That's this.
Okay.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
It looks like office supplies, again, they're asking for it to increase to purchase items due to COVID. So, seems to me they'd be better off to buy them this year.
To buy which ones?
Office supplies.
The ones that they're increasing, if it's supplies and things like that, if they buy them
No,
this
why
year and they
don't
get
they?
reimbursed, that'd be better than increasing their budget.
Yeah,
Well, I think they were planning on paying, they'd have to pay it and then get reimbursed to their budget, not pay it out of another fund.
were they,
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
did they encumber money as well
In
for
which one?
office supplies?
In which year?
Because
Looks like they encumbered, I don't think they've had an additional, so they encumbered from 2019. But that would be my thought of the ones that they're asking for increases due to COVID. I mean, other than the one where they're wanting a contractual next year, you can't do that, but the other ones,
We made the same thing. In the additional appropriation.
I was gonna say,
no,
I
they
think
take it out of that fund and you don't have to do it by additional, because and the other thing is, if you put it in your budget, then they can't get reimbursed.
so. Then let's just leave office supplies at $30,000.
All right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You want to skip
You
the
need to
big
call
one
them,
there?
Tell
and-
them to order their stuff.
Well, wearing apparel, this one right here,
I was gonna say, you want to do the lodging and food jury real quick, and then we'll come back down to
well, there
the.
again, if that's due to.
That's
their-
what I was gonna say. Yeah, you might as well keep it at 10 grand, because if they're gonna get reimbursed, then. I'm hopeful that they do get reimbursed.
Well, my next question is this one right here. If you leave it the same and they're able to get reimbursed, you'd be better off.
Supplement to
Oh,
work
The
release,
work release, the indigent work release.
30044. Mike, what do you think on the work release?
I think they ought to request additional indigent work release now
Yeah.
and crank it right through, because they're gonna need it.
Well, yeah, but when we're talking about for next, for
Mhm.
one, if they requested.
If they extend that CARES time frame, then if they were to pay it from that fund, it wouldn't have to come from general fund.
But if they would ask for more now because they've exhausted it now,
That would, but they may be able to get reimbursed for what
for
they did.
another year, I understand what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is, even this year, they may be able to get reimbursed
Right,
by the time they make a correction, and so, but even next year, if they extend it, if you put it in your budget, they will not be able to get reimbursed. So if you appropriate more for COVID in here, it's not gonna,
has he asked for more for now?
for 2020, they have. But that may go back to if it can be reimbursed through COVID, they may not need it.
Ask for it now, right?
Yeah,
For an additional appropriation.
yes.
How much did he ask for now?
I'll have to go back to my.
Oh, that's
emails.
okay, that's okay, I'm just saying maybe he ought to ask.
Will,
him.
will any of this money go to what Bill has proposed and Judge Mulligan has proposed, that any of that money will go to their programming? Do we know?
In
Or is
here,
that just a separate?
No, it's a
the
separate.
Okay.
50,000 that's right there, that's part of it, and then there's 2 positions.
Okay.
3330 contractual services.
Yeah, the contractual services
3,000
is the nurse
for the
practitioner.
expansion of our program.
But I'm just talking about.
So you got the
indigent.
2
I'm just saying
people
if
and
he
you got
has
that
enough.
contractual services for the program.
Because I know he ran out of the indigent, and I just wanted to be sure that he had enough, that he didn't, run out, so that he'll always get
They asked for
reimbursed
an
as long as
additional
that's
study.
as long as that's lasting.
So.
But that's
two-
what we need a
those 2
definitive
people
answer on
and
that,
the
whether it can be
contractual
reimbursed.
services, so. if we pay that out of which one of these? Perhaps. Correction or rehabilitative.
I don't know. I don't have an answer.
We don't have an answer yet?
Yes.
That's a good idea though, Mike.
Well,
Paying
that's
out
where
one
we
of
do
those.
it. I mean, there's no other money to do it, but there's money there.
Should we wait for some type of answer for that, or just go ahead and leave it at the 75, or?
I would wait for an answer.
Yeah, but, what, and
I
then
don't-
put it back in?
Yeah. Yeah, we should have an answer before you adopt budgets. You should be able to come back with it.
The question is, we can today, right now, or
Yeah, we can just leave this and
Yeah.
come back to
Yeah.
it, because
we leave it in?
Looks
Right,
like we might have email back.
Leave it in, yeah, email's working.
all right. We know where it's at, make notes of where it's at and what it's for, and how we're figuring on funding it, right?
And then, do you want to go ahead and do the 33300 contractual services, which is the nurse practitioner, and the 3,000 for the temp service? So Judy, right now,
we have to leave those in as they've asked for.
the supplemental to the work release, we've left in at 75,000 upon questioning.
What's the figure up there is one, and here it's another.
I'm on. Zip zero.
That's the increase on the bottom line, right? Okay. So 53, 94, 962. And that's 65 and 74. Okay. Okay. It's 6:13. We're waiting on. Well, you asked them about 2 or 3 weeks ago, didn't you?
About a week or so.
About a week ago.
For which one, Mike?
If we could fund any of this
Oh, out of the public
court
safety.
stuff out of one of the
And the cares.
tax, no. Out of the
Public safety, the lit.
public safety or something. That'd be a fundable expense out of there.
This system hardware, do you want to take that to the 36.5 back to, in case it's CARES? Cause they could do that this year.
My, it. Will we be paying some type of service for that hardware in the future?
It,
I mean, say we,
it would be in, service agreements.
so basically the system hardware, what they're talking about is TVs, some type of digital recording device or something like that.
It says purchase equipment for streaming of court proceedings and microphones.
So they're asking for an additional $4,500 to do that. Although, what they've
35.
purchased already, they could probably get reimbursed.
It depends on how they did it, because if they took it out of their budget, I don't know if they can.
Cheryl, did they give you receipts for anything for COVID relief? Do you remember?
No, I don't think, did they mark it already? Did she say they knew they didn't know how?
Because I'll tell you this, it seems like it's an expedited process in the courtroom to do the TV viewing. And if they're going to proceed with that, I think they might benefit from that extra $4,500 or whatever it is.
35.
35, yeah. I'll get West Vigo education.
Yeah, but my point is if they can do it this year and get reimbursed, instead of waiting until 2021 and doing it, that would,
But we're still in the question of if they get reimbursed or not. We're hoping for a lot of reimbursement.
Well, what we're trying to do is figure out how we can manage it, get our money if we can.
yes.
So, manage it, we budget it one way, try to get reimbursed for it, manage it.
That's
Right.
why I'm saying if you don't
That's
budget,
why-
Want to
Yeah.
get it in if we can.
That's what we're starting talking about. So we cut it out of the budget now. And
Is there overall, that's not all.
when we talk to them, who's their computer person?
Is that
Joe.
Joe?
Joe Labrie.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, in reference to 2 or 3 things, that they had gotten by very conservatively. What they had done was working well. And I believe the judge said that they could
Right now?
continue to do things that
Right now.
way. And it was because it was working.
But he said he had jerry-rigged it. I mean, he said he needed
Right.
it, but he needed a substantial setup
So
to depend on it for the
so-
court.
Jim, Calissa, what you guys are saying is he continues, how can he? Okay, so we're gonna pay for it one way or another, right? I think that's what the agreement is here.
Well,
Court's needed, so we're gonna figure out a way to pay for it. So if we don't, is he gonna be able to progress with implementing if we don't appropriate the money? I mean, are we gonna have, am I making any sense here?
Mhm.
Yes. I understand.
Will be paid out of that fund, CARES Act.
Yeah, okay. Oh, they requested we establish a fund.
Paid out of that fund.
this budget.
This budget.
Okay, all right, so we've established, so we,
You're paying for it until we get reimbursed.
sure,
It's just not hitting their budget.
it's not hitting their budget. So we have, just like they've done, you're talking about establishing a bucket to use money out of in hopes. But we don't budget it here and look like we were predicting an increase in this, a normal year. Okay, all right.
Well,
So
and
then
Cheryl
that
just,
means we need to cut it out of this budget. Reduce this budget. Yeah,
Okay, well, then we should take it out of here and put it in the correct.
sure, sure. Well, we don't. Well, yeah, but that's what I think we're trying to get at is a way to manage it, right? Just a way to manage it.
So we don't put it in the budget, we take it out and put it in the CARES budget.
Right.
so we leave system hardware at $36,500.
Right.
To leave it.
Yep.
And plus, Cheryl just said that they've spent a little under 20 grand so far this year, so they still have plenty of money left over. Yeah.
Well, and that's the indication that I got from Joe is he said they can, he was uncertain, but
But we
some of it could be very
let them know
costly.
that they have to purchase it. It was an equipment issue, equipment.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
It was
that's
just
right, I talked to
equipment.
him afterwards, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. You are right. And there again, we're talking about the need, and we can, and we'll fund it. It's just if we can get it covered under CARES. So. So we write checks we can't cash, right?
But they had a jury trial to go, and then, I mean, you know, the law couldn't wait.
I think we can react pretty quickly. Position fees. Where are we at?
So who would we need to notify that that needs to be purchased in another manner? Because that'd be pretty important to do. Thank you.
Where's the physicians at? Judy had a question in reference to that. Is that?
Physician fees, they've not touched yet.
Physician fees. So, is that part of the new program, or is that? It is?
Physician fee,
Increase due to mental health evaluations continuing to increase. An extra $5,000.
Okay.
I think the psychiatric fees are separated out in there, I believe.
It looks like in 2020 they asked for an additional increase of $10,000, also used to pay for mental health evaluations.
and if you look at what they've expended halfway through, I don't know. They're on target. Because in 2019, they only spent 28,000 all year. 2020 through halfway, they've spent 20,525.
I wonder who they use. Is that done in-house by the county, or is that a
Somebody
Outside
they,
contractor.
they contract with.
Which one? Do we know?
Hold on.
They were consulting with Mahmood to set it up,
Were
but
they?
he's not gonna do the
Oh, my, yeah.
evaluation at the Indianapolis guy. No, it's not, it's
Okay,
not them
that's all
at
I needed to know.
They're out
Oh,
of it.
then we're done with that.
Yeah, we're done with that. Man, they're gonna put a hit on me.
So what was that, increase of
I
$10,000?
imagine a certain individual can
There's-
just kick your butt.
Yeah, that was from 30 to 40,
35 to 40.
35 to 40, so it's an increase of $5,000.
So they asked for 40 in 2020. We gave them 35, so we met them halfway.
All right.
And then up there, that, if you look at, 33,300, that has, mental health evaluation,
Eval.
medication and all that.
Evaluation.
Contractual.
Yep. Yep. Okay, this time let's take a recess.
5 minutes.
Okay.
We have not done it.
Bicycle wreck injury healed up.
Yeah, that went right. It's okay. That's it. Good. I thought like this, I do have it for you.
You were supposed to take it when I was. I thought you were wearing a suit today. Is that what you said? Oh.
Just picking up. Back at it.
You have to turn your microphone back on. I did.
He was conserving your battery.
I was considering your battery.
Okay. Back after recess. All right. What line are we on here?
We're on clerks.
What? I thought we were still doing, did we already talk about the 53,000 for the courts and the, or were we waiting?
You said to leave it in there until you figured out how to fund it.
Well, I didn't know I said that.
Well, I think Vicky said it.
Okay.
You as a group.
Well,
Okay, that's fine.
this is the thing that we're looking at trying to do. I think that was the consensus from the August 11th meeting. And so that is not a CARES related
Correct.
expense.
Yep, I understand.
So,
Got that, Judy? We're moving on to clerks because we're going to ask some more questions about the 53,000.
we have a question that haven't gotten a response yet. Okay, clerk.
Clerk, you have an increase, in office supplies, and it's due to COVID. Contractual services went up, by quite a bit. But I don't know why. Doesn't have an explanation. I don't remember if they gave us one. I'd have to look at my notes. Travel expenses is up, mileage is up, official meetings is up, education and counseling is up. Equipment new and office furniture, they're all up.
The contractual services was for a new program for the new pads or something like that, wasn't it?
That's for,
Or that's elections, not clerk.
Election,
Yeah.
I don't remember, Chris, what. Did we have a handout from them?
No. We didn't get one.
oh, you know what it was? They shifted from service agreements to contractual because that's how they were paying it. So their service agreements should be down. So it's down by 10,000. It's down
That's
by
right.
That's
10,
what
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
and it's up
And they
by-
mentioned that.
It's down
Yes.
by 10, the other one's up by 10,850. So it's not quite a wash, but it's pretty close.
Okay.
So are we good with contractual services at 24,000?
That's fine.
Jewel, okay. Services,
Travel up 1,000.
They said they were wanting to go to more conferences and take more people.
transfer.
And the official meetings of it, that was with fees. 800.
From
13.
service.
Training 5,000.
I don't remember that, okay.
So their equipment new is also up $3,500. Correct.
Furniture. 1,000. You know how much that was, ballpark? Good.
Just so you know, this, he just meant that.
Okay. $30.
The states really divided their portion are giving it and it's offered part. That we had made. Now, we don't know we spent that out of town.
What do they do? They're spending it. Their election committee says to do it. So then you guys have suddenly had a check, Pierce, for $33,500. You're going, what's this for? Yeah. 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 Sanitation.
Well, when they get their check, what do they do with it?
Now, if they spend it out of this, there's no carry with it. Revenue back.
Right.
But again, once they work, they have to pay. There's a health department. It's the need to do. So all of this, it will be audited. Again, it's separate money. So that, again, kind of thing, no communication. Like, however, I will say the state force, don't forget, the department, state office, but then it even, other phone calls for the loans. Basically from the auditor saying, how do we handle this? Conversation. So just an FYI, I just, like, they did get some
Well, pretty sizable amount, which I'm sure they probably spent pretty easily.
And that was for cleaning supplies.
it was basically help. They used a lot for.
Well, they had contractor and everything else. Yeah, it was,
All right.
so you're not the only one getting cut out. State board's getting cut out too.
You wanna leave that at 2020 rates since the increase is due to COVID?
Well, I would say 21,000. We keep it 47,000 because if they're going to get it covered through COVID,
Yeah,
then
just keep it at,
Okay.
just keep it, yeah.
the 33,000 the contractual services we obviously know is good because they switched.
Switch those items.
So that's good. Travel expenses, whatever you guys think.
You
That's
think
a-
they'll actually be having a bunch of conferences this year? I mean, coming up?
There is no election
No.
in
The only
2021.
thing would be if there would be a special election, in which case they could come and we could fund it if that happened. So,
Nothing's on the horizon yet, now, are they? Other than a school corporation wanting to, mentioning that they want to have another referendum to raise taxes again so they can build a new school.
they probably won't be doing that, it seems.
I don't think they'll do it in 2021.
Well, didn't they find their money that they thought they lost?
Who knows?
Why do they have office furniture and office furniture up?
That's what I was wondering about. I was just looking at that.
Well, new equipment's printers. So that's a once every 5 or 10 year expense.
I think those printers are supposed to be with go with their new computer voting machine thing, voting machines.
Do you know why they have a different account, office furniture other, instead of office furniture?
No, I don't know.
I wonder if they've used the wrong number, because it was 44480 and they used 4480.
I would say so.
I would say use the office furniture line and not the other if you wanna populate it.
That's still a significant increase for new office furniture.
It's double. Bookkeeping department needs new counter, desk, chairs. Half of it will be paid from our fund.
A new counter, and desks and chairs.
I would say-
Half is going to be paid.
Hmm?
What fund?
It's general.
No, you said half would be paid from their funds.
Oh, they have our funds, it's the American Reinvest, Recovery or other Reinvest. They have funds there, big.
Are we good with the increase in the 44,510, the $4,500 for the printers and the copy machine?
Well, the printers, that's new voting machines.
No, these are receipt printers.
Receipt
receipt
printers for
printers.
voting machines is what they are.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's
Is it?
child support.
It's something different, Vicki. This is their ones in their regular office day to day.
Yeah, they're day-to-day officers.
14 child support
Well,
receipt printers.
between child support and
I thought they
maybe
wanted to get
court
about
fees and
10
whatever.
of them, or 10 or 12 of them, or something
It
like that.
says 14.
14, okay. I'm okay with it.
So yeah, are you good, Vicky, just to move forward with that one?
And office furniture, put it in office furniture, not other?
Yeah,
Okay. Let's move it to office furniture, not other.
what do you want? You want,
They're gonna pay, they gotta buy $15,000 worth of office furniture, is that what they're saying?
yeah, they need, the bookkeeping department needs new counter, desk, chairs.
And we're supposed to fund half of it.
That's what they're saying. Ask,
I'm all right with it. Office furniture,
So we pay 7,500 and ARRA pays 7,500.
Yeah, to equal the 15.
and what about all the travel expenses?
and make them the same as they were last year.
As they were last year?
Yep. 7,500. Furniture.
Which then also they have the option, some of them they can probably take out of the elected official
Right.
fund, so.
Okay. Mileage was up because of the travel expense, right? Official meetings. Just the office holder gets paid
No,
out of that.
they've extended that out.
They've extended that out. And how much money we got in there annually?
Well, your budget request is 12,000, which they get in, for 10 or 12, they get in about that same amount.
And we've only been using what? very little out of it over the years.
Only certain departments are all improved.
Clerk is.
That's what they said the other day.
Okay, then make their lines the same then. We can pay mileage out of that 12,000.
Out of the, yes.
Yeah. I think mileage 700, yeah. And we're gonna make the official meetings the same. And we zeroed out education council training. Okay. Office furniture. 0. Out. Education. Counseling. Training.
No.
And everything, yeah, everything went back to 2020 rates. In the travel, hold on,
Not everything there, do you?
all the things that were travel related, so mileage, travel expenses, mileage, official meetings, and education, counseling, and training.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Before we move on,
47,000.
in the educational training,
47,000.
didn't they say something, Mike, about they were wanting to train somebody to get them to move on to a higher position in their office or something like that? Or am I thinking of something else? I thought the education and training wasn't important. Wasn't that something important for them?
I don't remember.
See, I thought that she had mentioned, Leanna had mentioned that they were going to train somebody. Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it leaving it at 0, but I want to make sure that I had thought they had mentioned something. But maybe not.
That's what they said.
Train them for what?
I don't know, Vicky, it just says, would like to send more people
I
for
think it
training.
goes out to deputies. There's a certain number.
All right.
Commissioners.
Commissioners, huh?
So they have increase in gasoline, bond employee, liability claims, Hamilton donation, but you don't have a choice about that. Sorry, Chris. Gas, water, fuel oil and coal, electricity, solid waste, office furniture.
What's that solid waste and sewage disposal?
sewage bills.
It's too bad you can't take that increase and use COVID dollars to cover that.
Solid waste,
Yeah.
is when they were sick.
Shh. Just saying.
It's quite a hike in sewage. Guess not. 14% hike in electricity, is that a big bump?
Well, that's more than that. That's almost a 24% increase.
Electric.
In all three of those, electricity, gas, and solid waste, that's a $210,000 increase.
Let's look.
No
They
clue.
expended in 19, 477, 408. Let's see what they expended. 462. So even if you took 480 round numbers. Well, no, that's still, well, 67, so you take 480 and 67, you're about 544. So. Well, 547, I'm sorry. If you put 14% on, what you look at what they've expended for 19 and 20, 19 and 18, just rounded up to 480, 14% increase. 547.
547. That's what I was thinking, just kind of bringing my calculator, but what I was thinking just off the top of my head. Figured 15%, not 14%. So,
I went by what Vicky just said. Was it 14? Anyway,
14% increase
14%,
next year.
they, state reduced it 1.5, so half the answer. So you've got 200,000 on a cat spending. I think we run into this about every year. Just pump it in there. Got it covered. I don't know if we've ever made an additional appropriation on utility commission. Fire budget, like electric, 14% over the 2019 expended.
you want to round it to 550?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 550, I'm good with that. So 33,700 Judy, we made 550,000.
Gas and electric is, or gas, I mean,
Gas.
real coal. 124. They're asking for 200,000. Is there any? What are we missing there? Beck, you take any increases?
I don't think Vectren did. I would say our water bill is very expensive.
We adopted at 150. And then 2020 we adopted 165. Expended 124. We must have had an anticipated increase last year, huh? $15,000.
In 18, you expended 132. 19, 120, 125. And right now, you're on track for about 126, 127.
Yeah, varies quite a bit.
Well, I mean, it's not a lot. I mean, you still have winter.
Right. Right, I know.
I still don't
So
think we're gonna
probably
get.
one of your worst months you'll be paying in January.
I still don't think we're gonna get to 165, even if we have a terrible
168,
winter.
I'd give them
One what?
168.
168 from 200? Okay. All right.
And let's see, sewage.
It's not too far off. Adopted. We adopted 130 last year. We're
You're-
online to spend that, then, aren't we? Doesn't vary much, does it?
We could do 140.
19, you did 120, almost 129.
Yeah.
You expended 18, 132, 2.
Advertising.
Office furniture. Did they tell us what office furniture they were wanting to replace?
No, I think they asked for it last year and it was turned down. So they probably just put it in there again.
I say we turn it down again.
Yeah, but you guys might be the commissioners next year, and then don't come in here whining for it.
Well, you're not going to get very much office furniture for $1,000.
No, that's for sure.
Bring some from home.
Oh, yeah. And he will too.
So, office furniture, we're gonna leave at 0.
What you said.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Hamilton Center, Chris? You good on this?
That's what they told, so we were down last year, and we were perplexed about that, but we're back up this year. And that's our max we can adopt. That isn't what they said we have to pay yet, so that's what you're saying.
That's the minimum. And
Isn't it? Is it the minimum?
I mean, you can adopt more than that if you
I
want.
think it's in the back of the
But that's
book.
all you're going to get it. Yeah, it's a max adjustment, but it's not the maximum you can adopt. You could do a 1.3 if you wanted. But you're only going to get 600 and some odd adjusted. If you're feeling generous, Chris.
I have no comment.
Finally.
Expended 654.
It went down last year, now it's back up.
I mean, there's really not anything we can do about that, right?
No, not
I mean,
Not really. All right.
liability claims.
we gave them, or 2020, we adopted the 150,000.
Yes. And in 2019, you adopted 150, and it looks like they transferred out
78.
72.
That's such a wishy-washy thing. You just never know.
You expended 64,000 in 19. 91, almost 92 and 18, and this year you're at 118 already, at halfway, 119 at the halfway point.
I say keep it at 150,000, but up to you guys.
I say you better.
150? 150, Calissa.
What's this one?
Did you make that 50,000 or 15,000?
Well, I made it 15,000. I just didn't think. I thought you guys could buy cheaper.
Okay. All right.
I don't know, we haven't got there yet. We haven't got there yet. They expended 3,800 in 19 and 1664 in 18.
So I guess the question is who we bonding, Chris?
It's pretty much anybody that can make a mistake.
We're talking about bonding maybe like a contractual service or just our employee.
Our employees is for
Yeah.
errors and omissions,
What?
like errors and omissions. If something happens that there's a problem, that bond.
Okay. Well, I'm all, yeah, okay. That's all. The commissioners cover our bond for the
Cover your
departments. Yeah, okay.
needs.
That's, I'm all right with $4,500. All right. Postage.
Gasoline. Gasoline, I say leave it 2,500.
All right. Gasoline.
The most they've ever spent is not quite 18.
Yeah. Vicky, you good with that?
Sure.
All right. What else we got?
It's all the changes right now.
Unemployment. Talk about that unemployment over the years. Expended 10,437 this year so
We
far.
spent 22.7,
22,7 and 19. 20,000 and oh, that's a one. You want to dabble in the ones a little bit.
No, you said no. We're just going to do 2, 3s, and 4s.
I got you, but we're here. I'm just saying that it's been a discussion before. You might get $10,000 in your county general if you reduced it by 10.
Why are we not doing the Historical Society $10,000 anymore? Do we know?
They gave them a big contribution on
For their new
the
building?
license.
Do they take it out now?
Gave,
Yeah.
made it room,
well, they get
Eagle County room.
out of edit. They may probably make their
They
contribution on
probably
edit.
isn't that it?
It is.
Which one? No.
Haven't done anything yet.
I just was suggesting that the unemployment was running between $20,000 and $30,000 annually. We allocate 40,000, so if you reduce it by $5,000 or $10,000, it'd be a little bit out of the county general.
It's up to you. I mean,
Considering we,
You wanna do
we
that
just
right now?
upped Hamilton Center, what, 30 for the year? To 25. We gotta make up that someplace.
I would just say any other mental health organization in this county that can get certified in everything they need to, they should.
Yeah, well, that's probably not gonna happen next year,
No, I
but
know.
we can work on it. Yeah, I'd reduce that unemployment to 30,000.
Vicky, you okay with that? 15,240 unemployment to
Vicky, you all right with
$30,000
that?
instead of 40. That would put $10,000 back into.
Pretty scary.
What, you just
Feel
wanna hold it? Well,
comfortable?
don't worry about it then.
Just leave it at 40. We'll worry about it later.
All right. Okay.
Don't know what kind of year it might be next next year.
Well, the good thing
Scroll back
is,
up a line.
the good thing is they can't transfer that and spend it on something else. Scroll up where?
I want to look at Hamilton Center again. I just want to get an idea. Hamilton Center.
Isn't that outrageous?
What's the
How
dollar
in
figure?
2020 did we only? Oh, well, okay, I get it. All right, never mind.
64, 683, 625, 808.
That was the
Okay,
origination
got it.
of the phrase, there is no justice in
Good.
I know.
Anything else in there?
Frustration,
Aggravation,
anguish.
blues, despair, and agony.
No, we can.
That is interesting if you look at postage, which is
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting about postage? You say that's what's interesting about postage is the transfers out of it?
which insurance are you talking about? Liability insurance? I thought there was no oh, you mean because of employees. I got you now. Postage, $250 is requested, which is the same as was adopted. But if you look at expenditures in 19, 89,660, 124,383.
So what do they need $250,000 for? Mike, we got issues. Let's go. Postage. Okay, fine.
But it looks like
2018 expenditure is 125,000. 2019 expenditure is what, Calissa? 89,000.
89,660.
Was that because would that have anything to do with an election in 18? Postage?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But we had an election in 19, didn't we?
So they mailed,
Yeah, but
they mailed
18
out,
18 was a county election. 19 was a city election.
That could be the difference.
but they mailed out,
Absentee.
What'd you find out? Can you
But
tell
if
us?
you look at the 19 budget, you adopted 250, and they transferred out to 99,000. So where did what 51,000 they transferred out?
What are we using it for?
we'll leave it in there, you can transfer. Don't outsmart yourself.
I feel like I shouldn't comment on this because
We're not gonna have
I'm
an
running
election.
for that office, so I'll just whatever you guys decide.
Well, we can't wait because we gotta have well, we put, let's see, 210, we put in 210 and 300 and 300 and 300. That looks like a little safety net, doesn't it?
That's a pretty big. I mean,
Pretty big safety net, but there's 3 commissioners that take a pretty big net.
but that
We
could
can
be.
reduce it by 50,000 easily. I wouldn't feel uncomfortable reducing it by 50,000. Considering we've got this big hunk of money we need to move, we need to reduce. What do you think, Clarissa?
Can
You have some wiggle room, because I mean, you look at, like I
Well,
said,
mean,
99,000,
I mean, they've used
125.
far less every year.
I mean,
Can you
even
see-
150,000 would still be more than what they've spent over the
Do you
last-
think the 2 months since June, they have spent quite a bit more money, or is that even money?
We can
Is that
look.
even worth looking at, or
Normally, when they spend it in big bulk.
And we did have a primary election,
in 19?
but they would have been mailing out.
But when they buy
What else would
they
they
buy
mail?
blocks of postage. They don't.
Yeah.
It's not letter by letter. It goes.
No, but I'm thinking of what we would use blocks of postage for.
You would use box of postage for things.
See, I mean, they're valid uses for it. They're not buying,
Yeah. Yeah.
top hats and Ruffman coat.
Yeah, but what they're saying is
I don't know if I can talk
you
about
adjusted
top
their
hat.
liability insurance to get it to
Tell
where
you
you
what.
cover it.
Why don't you make it 225? You've reduced it $25,000.
I think you go to 170. You could go 150.
Is that where you're at right now? Oh no, you haven't got there yet.
They may be trained.
Here's
What
postage.
what hundred deal is it?
They've spent 63,872 as of now, and they transferred out from postage into office supplies $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000 from postage to office supply.
How did they do that? Because that's it. Uh-huh.
Don't say that.
See how much they took out for bar tab?
What series?
Overwhelmed
is
for
it?
grants. You were
Two.
working on grants. I'm sure that's true. General fund to postage, they sure did.
Interesting. All right, Mike, Vicky, shall we reduce it down to 225, 200, 175,
Do I hear
100,000?
150? Do I hear? How about 100,000?
Well, the good thing is they have COVID in here. They got 3 COVIDs out of office supplies, so
Ooh. COVID.
Tabco business supplies.
That might be a good fallback for COVID stuff. They don't
yeah,
have
but you don't want to appropriate it. Because that'll be different.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's 300.
300 is too much, obviously. 300.
But so,
Let's cut it in half. Just,
225, 125.
yeah.
sure you don't do 150? You're okay with 125?
150.
That's $100,000 reduction. Vicky, if something
Well, we've
happens,
got- I
I'm
mean,
coming
this
back to
budget,
you.
We've got to cut it down, you know. Yeah, 150. But, you know, I mean, he'll be back in here with his little hat in his hand, begging and crying.
That's why I bring my hat every day, every meeting,
Okay.
just in case.
Beg all you want.
I'm willing to take that risk.
I think you're pretty safe.
39,875.
We're on coroner,
Okay.
Coroner,
and you guys have 19 minutes.
Da, da, da,
Not that we're
da,
counting.
da, da.
Okay, so office supplies went up by 500, transportation corps went up by not almost 10,000. And autopsy fee is up by 15.
We got an additional appropriation for coroner yet this year.
no, not
Not
this
this
year.
No,
year.
but you're gonna
That's
get
usually
one, and I
November.
tell you why. Because as of last weekend, they had done 70 more cases than they did this time last year. People are dying like crazy. Do what? Yeah. That's just, and they're not getting much of anything, are they?
Uh,
That was thoughtful of you to think of them.
you mean their pay?
Yeah.
How many deputy coroners are there?
4, I
Four
think.
or three.
I think there's
Four,
4.
3 in Curtis, yeah.
4, and they get what, 5,000 a piece or something.
So, our total payroll for the coroner's office is $111,000 divided by
Well,
5.
Curtis gets a bigger stipend because he's a transporter.
He gets paid plus the
Transport.
he's
He picked up a 400-pound guy who had died of COVID last weekend.
that means he got paid extra for that.
That was unpleasant.
Because if you're over a certain weight, he gets paid
Mhm.
extra. And if it's gory, he gets paid extra.
That's a job I would never want.
Oh boy, it's terrible,
He'll stick with cars.
I'll stick with cars, yeah.
especially in the
Cars and
summertime
county
when they've
government.
been dead for 6 weeks.
Yeah. So a $500 increase in office supplies, do they give us notes or anything on the office supplies, or do we have nothing?
They didn't come in. I don't.
And they didn't present to us, did they?
Let's
Which
see.
one are we doing?
Coroner?
No, she didn't come in.
And no, there's no narrative or anything.
Is that surprising she didn't come in, or do they usually not come in?
They don't normally change their budget a whole lot. I mean, the fact that they increased transportation, and autopsy, that's probably a good thing. Maybe it'll keep them from coming back. But
Transportation of corpse. They asked for 150. We gave them 130, 150. Now they're asking.
That was they had $150 that were. No, we did give $150,000. It's odd. I don't know how we came up with the 150.
You know, I hate asking you to do this, Cheryl, but can you tell us where they're at right now? Yeah.
I don't think they're out of line. what they're asking. The question is if, probably more if they're
over.
asking enough.
I was gonna, yeah. Yeah, I would say we could adopt their budget as proposed. If that's okay with you guys.
Hopefully the COVID will tame down and they won't need more. They're way over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we cranked it up big time.
And if you look at transportation, 2019 was adopted at 75, and there was an additional appropriation or something, got them to 130,000.
Wow.
150. They spent 107,000, and they're at that now. They spent 107,000. Now, I will tell you that they're bad about holding bills and paying them the following, so they're getting into next
Are
year's
they-
budget.
Are they still holding them?
Which is
Yeah.
getting better, but I mean, they've been bad about that in the past, and they hold them, and then, so no matter how much you try to get them caught up and think
Yeah.
you're good, the next thing you know, well, I had a whole bunch of bills that I didn't.
You all right with the budget as presented?
Pardon?
Are you all right with the budget as presented?
Yeah, yeah, unless you think we need to stick some more dough on those, autopsy fees, I don't know, it's gonna run short.
Well,
Yeah.
well, let's hope in 2021 that we don't have that issue.
I mean, you don't
They'll
know.
just have to come and ask, I mean, it's not gonna be over by the end of the year, that's for sure. She'll just have to come and ask, or whoever.
All right, so we'll move on to the council.
Now, you won't be here, somebody else will have to. But I mean, it's hard to believe how many people didn't die. We had 3 deaths last week of COVID. Had one already.
The only increase was to education, council, and training. That's because potentially you could have 5 new council members.
Now, that would be worst case scenario.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, everybody. I may still be here. Good luck with that for me. That's a lot.
I don't know if that's ever occurred.
Now, I did increase the group insurance because same reason. I don't know, potentially 5 new ones, you may have different coverages.
Just adopt the proposed budget. You guys good with that?
And this has supplement to drug court of 50,000 and community corrections as well in there. Well, that one right there was so the drug screens for drug court and the court.
I'm good with it.
This drainage board, I think, oh, that's all salaries, but actually, we probably go ahead and do that one because it's rates and they haven't changed. It's like stipends. So you could just about finish this one off completely. You now have a budget done, one budget, department budget. Does that make you feel good? Election board. You have 10 minutes. 9. I don't think you're gonna get this done.
Well, let's try. Be
Okay.
quick. That will get us maybe 1/8 of the way through.
They have increases in office supplies, computer supplies, legal services, licenses, advertising, printing, equipment rental, official meetings, and voting equipment.
Maybe we don't have time.
Let's not do that one. Let's call this a day, huh?
Just for discussion matter, we talked about that voting equipment, and we've twisted that around several different ways. Did we come to any change in it? Any options, anything? Any maneuvering room, anything, other than spending $500,000 on voting equipment?
I'd like for you to bring that to us in January. Start looking at it in January.
Do anything.
Not have an election.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a note of that with some of this. I have $1,000 in for it.
Do you see their 2020, their total budget that was adopted and their expenditure?
Yes,
is
$400,000 are in plan
Literally
to
half of
edit.
what they had adopted.
If we get,
Right.
I think that's what but it doesn't cut out the budget because we should be counted as revenue.
Complete it. I'll think of it. All right.
Michael,
So-
when are we gonna come back?
Well, I think they're done. You may have some time available to work on stuff, on your grants. You may have time to work on grants. They changed their mind. It's their prerogative.
I took the whole day off, so it's up to you. I did, but it doesn't matter. It's up to you guys. I don't care, but if you guys are gonna do this every day this week, I will not be able to be here.
No,
A half day, you said.
well, I'm not
can't, I can't. And I gotta go to the airport, I have to take some at the airport.
All right. Well, we can muddle through.
Or me and you can go, as long as there's two here, at least we saw the quorum.
Yeah, we can muddle through.
Okay, well,
1:30.
don't cut me out of don't cut me out of the budget. That's- You know they do that every time I don't.
We just did.
We'll just ignore her.
Mhm.
I mean, we kinda do anyway, though.
I noticed
kidding.
that.
We can come back at 1 or 1:30.
Just remember, I'm a voter.
Yeah, I do.
1:30.
1:30.
All right, let's do it.
Recess until 1:30.
Recess till 1:30.
Then are you gonna work tomorrow?
I gotta do something. I got an appointment tomorrow at some time tomorrow, Vicky. But yeah,
I
we
do
can
too.
work